we have two very, very impressionable rankers with us. Nitisha, she secured All India rank 133 this year in the civil services exam. And Meghana, she has been an IRMS officer and she secured this rank in the last year's exam. So thank you, Nitisha and Meghana, for taking out your time and joining us at Civilsdaily here. So what we'll do ideally is that both of them will share their strategies, what worked for them and what did not. And they have had an illustrious career before in the private sector also. Nitisha is from the Indian Institute of Management. Meghna has been a chartered accountant. Both of them have, as you can see from their profile, they have had a very good career in the private sector. And simultaneously, they were obviously preparing for the civil services also, and both of them are into the services now. So before we begin, may I invite Shikhar sir to just present a small token of appreciation to both the rankers. Sir.
Congratulations, guys, both of you. Two of the best sellers. One is greatest of all times, the OG, and this is this year's top of the charts. About networks, so he comes up with very interesting concepts all the time, new narratives, each page is gripping. And this one talks about, the first book, Sapiens, was about how we have evolved and survived as a race, the importance of myth building, religion, which doesn't exist in animals, right? And now he's talking about networks, शुरू से लेके अब artificial intelligence तक. So all very interesting, very different way of looking at the world. All time, one of the all time greats. ये तो पढ़ के ही feel होती है ये वाली book, right? And guys, so this is what you are up against. जो भी prepare कर रहे हैं, talk तो session तो चलता रहेगा, but they are like the finest in this batch, right? And this is what the competition looks like. So इनसे आप लोग inspire हुई है, not just the academic tips that they give, but the non-academic stuff as well, right? So over to you guys.
Thank you so much.
So what we'll do is you can take over the session forward. And yeah, this is.
Should we wear it? Start. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nitisha. Good evening, everyone. My name is Meghana. So today we are here, and I am. We are both already in service IRMS, but Nitisha has got rank 133 this year again, and she is into IAAS probably. So we will have a small session with you guys, and there are a few things that we want to address today, and there are a couple of questions I will ask Nitisha, and probably she'll ask me something in between, and then we'll have like a conversation. I hope you guys enjoy the session. Yeah, and so the first thing I want to ask you is there any mistake that you probably would have avoided if you were to start preparation from today?
So there were a couple of mistakes that I made which costed me 4 attempts. So this is my 4th attempt. And one of the biggest mistakes which I now reflect that could have saved a lot of time was related basically to preparing notes topic wise. So I used to not prepare my notes topic wise, and my notes were not well organized. So in the last attempt, I thought that I should prepare my notes properly. So that kind of helped me. So this is one mistake that we as aspirants should never do, is not to make notes. So note making topic wise is very important. I would like to ask Meghna, what was her mistake that costed her 3 attempts?
Yeah, so 2023 was my 3rd attempt, and a 2nd attempt, I got GS, very good GS marks, the prelims, but I couldn't make it in CSAT. Being a chartered accountant, not being able to clear CSAT was just such a, it was not acceptable. I would say a biggest thing that you need to avoid is complacency. Your strengths can absolutely become your biggest weaknesses if you are complacent. So do not ever do that. Like that's like the broader lesson I took out from the CSAT failure. Yeah, so that's the mistake I did. And also not going through PYQs in the first attempt. So these two mistakes I think people can avoid.
So Meghna, I would like to ask you, what was the thing that you did to improve your mains marks? And what was the thing you did for the X factor, especially in mains papers?
Okay. So both put together, I will give an answer. I always believe that when you talk, you always substantiate your point with some example or some data. When you do that, it doesn't feel like you're creating something out of thin air. You actually know what you're talking about. So I always tried my best to give answers and substantiate with examples. I did not use a lot of diagrams, which I think I should have. That would have made more. That would have given my answers more weight. But yeah, I've gotten through. But for the future aspirants, I would definitely suggest use more diagrams, tables, and yeah, examples. I would like to ask you the same question.
Yeah. So Meghna, what I did this time was I had ready-made introduction conclusions for most of the topics, because there are a lot of repeated themes that come in papers in mains year after year. So it's better to have a ready-made conclusion and introduction which is both attention grabbing, and it also saves a lot of time, because time is of the essence in the paper and all of us barely are able to finish the paper. So this saves a lot of time, and it also leaves a good impression on the examiner. So this is what I did. And secondly, I also used a lot of flow charts, diagrams to be able to communicate a lot of information in shorter space. So these are the two things that I brought to it.
But in mains, the questions are not that straightforward. How do you mold your introduction or conclusion or your flow charts according to the question that is being asked?
Definitely the questions are not straightforward, but if we analyze the papers, we see that there are repeated themes. So having a conclusion and introduction that fits on those themes with a little tweak, which needs to be done real time and can be practiced through mock writing. So that can help in the final exam. So, and same for the flow chart. So whatever is the question, making the flow chart and practicing it in mocks is really beneficial.
Yeah. And yes, so people might be very interested in knowing about current affairs. So it's a huge part of civil services exams. Please talk about your experience and how you handled the big chunk of the exam, which is current affairs.
So current affairs is a very important part of both prelims and mains and even the interview. But each stage requires a different kind of preparation, even for current affairs. So for prelims, I was very religious with reading one newspaper thoroughly from front to back and making my own notes from the newspaper. And just to see that if I'm not missed on a specific topic, you can refer to any current affairs magazine, monthly current affairs magazine, and many coaching institutes come up with that. For mains, I focused on the analysis part of the current affairs because the orientation is towards that. And for interview, reading maybe two or three newspapers and having a broader opinion and not just facts is beneficial as far as current affairs is concerned. Now I would like to ask Meghna what she did for current affairs.
Yeah. So for me, again, reading newspaper was non-negotiable. I did read newspapers and tried to make my own notes, but then I also referred to monthly magazines. I used to read current affairs on daily basis also. Like there are few institutes which give out current affairs on a daily basis. So I did that. That I think helped me a lot. And towards the end of the month, you revise the whole thing all over again. So you get the understanding. You also have revised it. And by reading newspaper every day, you have revised the same things over and over again.
Right.
And for me, I used to write answers to these current affairs on daily basis. So that I think was a very important part of my preparation.
So I completely agree with Meghna when she said that revising, re-revising is very important, because sometimes we read a lot but fail to revise and we are not able to reproduce in the final exam. So that is very important. I would like to also ask Meghna, for the new aspirants who have just started their journey, what should they focus on when they are starting their journey so that they are able to save on a lot of time and become successful in their few attempts?
Yeah, so the first and foremost thing is knowing what the exam requires, knowing the syllabus. Uh, Two important things. One is syllabus, second is previous year questions. It will tell you where to go. It is the biggest guide you can have. So it will tell you what exactly is the scope of the exam. So that's for me very important. That's the mistake I made. So if you can avoid that mistake, that will be great. Yeah, and you please throw light on that as well.
I feel that, no, as Meghna rightly said, knowing the exam completely, not just the prelim stage, but what entails in all the three stages, prelims, mains, and interviews, is very important before jumping onto the journey. And knowing the entire syllabus, like syllabus, the UPSC syllabus which is published, that should be the Bible for all the aspirants, and we have to stick to the preparation as far as the syllabus is concerned. So that is very important, and that should be the first step for all new aspirants.
Okay. And what other advice do you want to give to the aspirants who are starting just now?
One of the most important things which I realized later in my journey was focusing on mental health is of utmost importance. Sometimes we get so exhausted that it becomes unsustainable to continue, because it's a long journey, and balancing and keeping a track of both physical health, mental health is very important. So that should not be put to the back burner. And along with that, a sustainable timetable should be formed, which has all the components, both studies, proper sleep, proper nutrition, mental health, physical health. So that should be something which is non-negotiable.
Yeah. I've seen Nitisha to be, since we are batchmates, I've seen her to be a very diligent person. So I would like to ask her this question as to how to be more accountable and how to be consistent, how to be Nitisha.
Meghna is being too kind, and I think that being accountability for me personally came from having a peer group. So I had my own peer group, so we used to be accountable to each other, and whatever gaps I had, my peer group, they helped to overcome it, and same for others. So having a peer group is very important, because all of us are in the same boat, and that kind of gives us motivation. And even during training, Meghna and I, we have our own peer group, and we are part of same group. So that kind of has helped me there also, and also in the training. So Meghna, you would like to add anything?
For me, consistency, like I was telling you earlier, it came from I had put my entire career on hold, like most of us do. Right? So I just had to remind myself of that I have put a very lucrative career behind for this, and I've always wanted to get into service. So that is the biggest motivation. When you wake up with that sense of, yes, I want to do this every single day, um, I think you will do it at some time or the other. It's just a matter of staying with it for a long time. Yeah. Good.